Hello, my name is Edward Sanchez. I am currently a junior attending for Hamilton High School in Brooklyn. First, I want to say that we stand in solidarity with the Black Lives Matter movement and those demonstrating against police brutality. Basta ya, enough is enough. We are going to hold the mayor to his word when he said he would shift funding from the police to the youth. Let's tell him what we mean by that. We want to also thank the City Council, City Comptroller, Public Advocate, and the Borough Presidents for demanding youth programming be funded. Mayor de Blasio's fiscal year 2021 executive budget eliminated over $217 million in summer funding for Beacons, Compass Summer Camp, Sonic Summer Camp, Nypd Cornerstones, and the Summer Youth Employment Program, also known as SYEP. From these cuts, more than 175,000 slots will be lost from summer camps and SYEP, leaving young people with little to do this summer, even in this pandemic. The families who use these services rely on them to give their children enriching opportunities, connections, friendships, and mentors. We are here as youth to say, fund Youth NYC this summer. Do it now. Do not wait for the budget, because we need to be prepared. When I was in middle school, there was a program called NIA, Community Service Network, located right in my school in Brooklyn. For me, it was a wonderful experience as I was provided with various activities as well as homework help. They had cooking, sports, dance, public speaking, leadership, chess, art, photography classes, and more. They even provided free meals to students who needed them. They had an after-school service and a summer camp to add on. This really benefited my family and I so much as it allowed me to be engaged in a variety of activities with my friends and to still learn and keep my mind fresh and not to lose or forget months of learning over the summer. The loss of Beacons, Compass Summer Camp, Sonic Summer Camp, Nypd Cornerstones, and the Summer Youth Employment Program is a rejection of individual children, young adults, and communities who depend on such programs during a time when communities are experiencing both mental distress and economic hardship. And now I will hand it off to my fellow youth advocate, Iman Miwad.
Hi everyone. My name is Iman. I'm currently a senior at Susan E. Wagner High School. Growing up in Staten Island, I realized how important summer programs are in young people's lives. Throughout my life, the programs I've had access to have given me confidence, helped me develop leadership skills, excuse me, and inspired me to use my voice to make a difference in my community. To defund these programs at such a time where kids need even more help and resources would be hurtful to these young people. Now is the time to make budget decisions to promote equity. The mayor said on Sunday that he was going to shift money from Nypd budget to youth services, but he did not say how. We are here to tell Mr. Mayor that a crucial part of this plan must be to invest in summer programs in this budget. That means this summer, save Sonic, Compass, Vegans, save Cornerstones, and save SYEP. Save them now, and we don't want to wait for a budget. We need to be prepared. Yeah.
Iman, do you want to turn it over to who's going next?
Yeah, I didn't get the name. Who's going next?
Sorry, next we have Councilmember Fernando Cabrera.
Thank you so much. I was in mute. I wanted to respect the background noise. I'm just so proud of the work that you're doing. I want to let you know we're standing with you. Look, I have worked with young people prior to being a council member. I was a school counselor for many years. I was also a Spark counselor in schools throughout the Bronx. I know firsthand why the cause on which you are fighting for is so needed. And you have the commitment of every New York City council member. We just spoke about this in Democratic caucus yesterday, that this agenda must move forward, that we have to restore these programs. The Beacon program that our moderators at the very beginning began to speak about. I have one of those programs. Right behind that school, one of my kids in our neighborhood got stabbed one time. I mean, we can't afford to lose these programs. We can't afford to lose the summer youth employment and all the other programs that we have. And let me add also the Compass program that will go into the colleges. Half of the young people that are going to go now to Bronx Community College are not going to have those services. And this is, we talk about getting justice off our backs. And now we're putting the weight of the load on balancing the budget in the back of young people, and we cannot afford to do that. My 2 minutes are up. Thank you so much. We're standing with you. God bless.
Hi, next. Okay. Next we'll be introducing Assemblymember Andy Havesi. Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
First, thank you for having me. There's a lot of friends on this call. I want to say thank you to all of the young people who spoke already. Edward and Iman, I really appreciate you giving us a sense of how important this is. Also, hello to a lot of friends on this call, Sharon Levy, JT, Gregory. I'm going to leave other people out, and also to my colleagues, Councilman Cabrera. I see Carlina Rivera has joined us. Rory Lanceman, and Assemblymember Harvey Epstein. Very simply, my message is simple. You just cannot cut these programs, and I believe that the mayor's office is coming around to that. I am part of a group of elected officials who've been reaching out to the mayor constantly for the past couple of weeks. I believe that they will be coming out with a new way to fund these programs within the next 2 weeks. That's my indication from the mayor's office. And that's only because of the loud noises that have been coming for some of the people on the call saying, we're just not going to tolerate it, these cuts. I would also suggest that the one portion of the funding for these programs comes out of the state. We put $22.4 million in the state budget to go towards these programs. That money has to be allocated to these kids. You can do these programs remotely. They are hugely important, and we're not going to stop until you do the right thing and fund them. So thank you to everybody on the call. We are standing with you and behind you, and we will be relentless until we get these programs restored. Thank you, everybody.
No, thank you, Assemblymember Andy Havesi. So now I would like to introduce Councilmember Rory Lanceman. You have the floor.
Thank you very much. It's good to see all of you, so many friends, but also so many young people taking leadership and really driving this train. You know, what we've seen in the last few weeks in response to the brutal killing of George Floyd really highlights the importance of young people finding their voice, exercising their voice, making their opinion heard, and what could be more important than making your opinion heard on an issue that so directly affects you. You know, over the years, the last 6 years in particular, the council has continually expanded funding for youth services, youth programs, summer youth employment, in recognition of the fact that our young people are our most important resource, but also the best way to have a well-rounded, functioning society that one day, you know, old people like me and Andy Havesi, I'm calling you old, Andy Havesi. One day, people like me and Andy Havesi can pass the torch, and the people who are on this Zoom are going to be the next council members and assembly members. And we can't have that if we're going to gut our youth programs. Look, I think it's really important, and I really appreciate the Edward, your mentioning at the outset the what's going on in our city and our country as it relates to police brutality. We cannot have a $9 billion budget gap in New York City closed on the backs of young people, on the backs of their futures at all, let alone without recognizing that the NYPD and the criminal justice system has to contribute to us closing that budget gap. You know, from the start of the mayor's adjustments to the budget as a result of the coronavirus crisis, it has been the mantra of the city council, and I don't speak for the council, but I can tell you the mantra of the city council that we are doing everything we can to preserve programs for young people, including, as necessary, taking that money from other places. And now with what's going on with the protests, there's an awareness that when we talk about funding for young people, we're talking about public safety also. So I think this is the right moment for us to make a huge difference in preserving and even expanding some of these programs and opportunities, maybe in new ways as a result of, the shutdown or the partial shutdown that we're still living under. But I really want to thank you for continuing to press us, and press us some more to make sure that these programs are preserved, and a way of thinking about caring for our young people and preparing them for the future is preserved and made the dominant philosophy here in New York City. Now I'm going to have to leave in a couple of minutes because we've got one of our New York City Council budget meetings that I've got to go to. But I can tell you from the very beginning, council members all across the city have been standing up for our youth and for youth services and youth programs. And we're going to continue to do so. Thank you. Keep fighting.
Rory, it's Ozzy here. I just wanted to say, I noticed your background, and I know that background, and that's Parsons. And you also have, there's a compass there, there's a beacon there, and right now, folks have are getting furlough letters and their layoffs. So, your unwavering support means so much to us and to our children. And that's your alma mater, I know too, that's cool. So it means a lot to you.
Listen, thank you and all the other providers on this call for what you do for my constituents, my neighbors, my friends, my kids.
So thank you, Councilmember Lankman. Next, we will be welcoming Assemblymember Harvey Epstein. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I just want to applaud you all, the organizations, as well as our young people who are standing up together, fighting for summer youth. It's something that I know is so critical for people in my neighborhood, for my community. We've been fighting for it since we heard the announcement. As Assemblymember Harvey said, we put over $20 million aside for this, knowing that the state should live up to its commitment. I know our council member, our allies, my councilwoman, Carlina Rivera, as well as all our council colleagues are going to continue to fight for this funding. We have been pushing the mayor's office, and it's great to hear that we should get something from the mayor's office next 2 weeks. I didn't hear that, Andy, and that's great news. But I know they know that we need to do it. They will only do this with pressure. The more pressure you put on them, the better. We are here to stand with you. We want to fight with you. And then we want all these summer youth interns in our offices so they create opportunities to build in their own communities they care about. Yep. So thank you for what you do. I look forward to the council showing its leadership, pushing back, and getting this funding back
basically
restored.
They're being smart because they're like, basically,
all over New York City, in our offices and our nonprofits throughout New York. Thank you all, and I appreciate your leadership.
No, thank you very much for that speech, Assemblymember Harvey Epstein. Now we introduce Councilmember Mark Leben.
Hello, and I think you mean Mark Levine, but if Steve Levin's on, I'm happy to cue him as well. We are commonly confused for each other, which is very flattering because he's an amazing leader. But I'm really happy to support you, to support the young people whose voices we need to hear now. And the young people who've spoken today have been so inspiring. Thank you, Edward and Iman. I want you to know that your voices are being heard, that this has become priority one in the City Council for funding restoration, for the economic benefit of young people, for all the leadership and career development opportunities that these programs provide, for health, for mental health, and all that we need during this very difficult time. And it's become paired to another fight that I know you care a lot about, which is our drive to cut funding from the NYPD. Right now, the budget, as currently proposed by the mayor, has a 32% cut in the Department of Youth and Community Development and a 1/3% cut in the police department's budget. This is really unacceptable. It is not the kind of priorities that we would ever agree to in the City Council. And we're pushing for a reduction in the police budget that would create funding to invest in young people in the programs that you're outlining today. And the momentum for that is stronger than ever, but we're in the home stretch now. We have to pass a budget in this city by the end of June. So really only about 2.5 weeks away. And you need to keep speaking out. You need to keep pressuring the mayor as well, because it's working. So you have my commitment to fight with you down the home stretch in the next 2.5 weeks to really achieve a win for young people through the great programs that you outlined. Thanks again for all you're doing and for including me in this important rally today.
Iman, you're muted.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Councilmember Levine, for your support. Next up to speak is Manhattan Borough President Gail Brewer. Take it away.
Thank you very much. I think there's two great things about what's going on. One, I'm in the office, so I feel better to be in the office. I was so frustrated not being here. The issue is the first group of people from budget advocacy this year, despite all of the challenges, were youth and youth development programs. And I don't think that's lost on anybody. There are so many issues: education, climate control, the list is endless. But who was first? SYEP. I know we had several Zoom conferences with youth development, youth providers who had phenomenal ideas about what can be done. And here we are, like maybe a month later, and you are much closer, not just for SYEP, but all of the summer camps, etc., beacons, cornerstones, getting funded. I think that's the only thing I can think of that's actually going to work in the city council. Everything else is probably, from the initiatives to the bigger ticket items, is still in the mix in terms of what's going to get funded. So I just want to congratulate you, because I know at least you don't have to be on the steps every 5 minutes. That's a big deal. And I think you've been just as effective by Zooming, and certainly seen amazing, fabulous protesters, even though they might be slightly older, but not exclusively, than a SYEP or somebody in day camp. Although there are many of those folks, young people there also. The fact of the matter is that your years of being on the steps, whether whether it is the umbrella groups or United Neighborhood or all the different groups that have been there, it has paid off, because you all know each other, you know what you do, you know how fabulous your programs are, and you know that you can, in seconds, despite this horrible furlough, etc. challenge, you know that you can quickly put together excellent programs because you've been doing it for decades. So I'm here to say we've been, from day one, Deputy Borough President Alvin Bonilla and Chief of Staff Jessica Mates, who have long histories as youth development experts, really, all the way back to Richard Murphy and John Beth, and people whom you may not recognize the names of, but people who sort of got the word youth development to be in the vocabulary, and what it means is the best. So I'm just here to say congratulations. I think, in everybody's head, by the end of this month, there will be very fast turnaround from your perspective. And of course, the only issue is you have to combine that now with healthcare, with the people working on Cure the Violence, on all of the issues on racism. It's a much heavier agenda, but I know that every youth development, youth coordinator is up to it. So I'm just here to say congratulations. I think I've been on the steps for about 25 years or 30 years with you. And now all of that work, which I believe in, I'm a big believer in, even though you don't know what is going to turn out to be in human services, social services, the arts, etc., you have to be prepared, and you are so prepared. So congratulations. And I have no idea what the money might be. I know there's money in the state to help combine this with the city, but I do know that and you're ready, and the young people need you more than ever. So thank you very much for being who you are, and I look forward to working with you in the future, always. Thanks.
Thank you for those strong words, Manhattan Borough President Gail Brewer. Next up, we have Assembly Member Victor Pichardo. Sorry if I butchered your last name.
No, you got it first time lucky. Thank you, Edward and Imam, and to all the youth leaders, the organizations who put this rally together, and my colleagues in government in all levels, from my colleague Assemblymember Hevesi to Councilmember Levine, Lanchman, Rivera, the borough president, and everybody else who's been on this rally. So it's pretty simple. I'm personally tired of it's harder to fight for youth programs than tax breaks for millionaires. We need to change the dynamic in how we do business in government and where our priorities lie. On the state level, myself and many of my colleagues who are on this call, we are pushing incredibly hard, because if we don't get any help from the federal government, there's going to be a significant cuts across the board. And what we're trying to do is A, avoid that, B, ask our federal colleagues to give us more stimulus dollars, but more importantly, that we invest our money into our youth, into our community. So look, I'm with you guys 1,000%. We have to keep fighting. The movements that have happened across this country and the movements that have happened in government have only happened because the people wanted them to, and they kept pushing. And we have to continue to say that if we truly believe that Black Lives Matters or the vidas negras importan, then we need to invest in Black lives. We need to invest into Black communities. We need to make sure that these communities have everything that they need to not only be successful, but to continue to thrive and to continue to be in safe communities. That's pretty much it for me. Thank you so very much for putting this rally together, to everybody who made this possible, to the youth leaders. Again, we need to continue to fight and make sure that if government truly believes that we take them at their word and they invest into Black communities. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Assemblymember Pichardo. Now I'm going to introduce Councilmember Carlina Rivera.
Hey everyone, I hope you can hear me. My internet's been a little funny. I think everybody's on Netflix. So, hi, I'm so happy to join you. This isn't our first rally over the past couple months. This isn't our second rally over the past couple months. We have been here quite a few times demanding justice, and between eliminating Compass and Beacon and Summer Sonic and SYEP, the city is essentially programs for young people during the summer. And I will tell you that I have been in the council for 2 years. I would tell you why this is so important to me is because I was just like you. I was always looking for a program or a job that was free or low cost, and it would be a struggle. So it is so important to me that we do this the right way. I want to thank Campaign for Children, United Neighborhood Houses, Fun Youth NYC. That's the hashtag. I also want to give a big shout out and thank you to all the young people here and their families. I want you all to remember the power that you have as young people, that we're here today because of your advocacy. And the mayor made that comment because of each and every one of you. It's my responsibility as a legislator to follow your courage by pursuing real budgetary reform. So I'm going to go into this budget negotiating team meeting right now, and I'm committed to passing a budget that protects essential programming for our youth and invests in community most impacted by COVID-19. So we need SYEP, we need all of the programs that I mentioned. It serves tens of thousands of New York City teenagers and young people, and we have to think about it this way. We cannot let a $6 billion NYPD budget move forward while we take away programs and services from our young people, from our Black and brown young people, from those families who are essential workers that we depend on each and every day. So you have my commitment. I know that these jobs help young people support their families and save for college. And that's what I want you all to have your vision and your dream realized. So now is the time to invest in our future. And I will continue to fight for major cuts to NYPD's budget in order to invest in our youth, our healthcare, food, housing, and of course, making sure that you all feel like we have your back. Thank you.
Thank you very much for those strong words. Hashtag defund NYPD. So thank you very much, Councilmember Carlina Rivera. Next up is Councilmember Andy King. You have the stage.
Peace and blessings, young folks. And everyone, because everyone on here is young, just some a little younger than others. But God is good, and I just want to say thank you, Carlina and Mark and Cabrera, and all of my colleagues in government here on this rally cry to make sure that our youth are protected. For my young folks, I say thank you. I say thank you for your strength, thank you for your advocacy, and thank you for carrying the torch. I once was, that's like Carlina, I was a beacon worker, look forward to after-school programs, and it made a difference in my life. So there is no way in the world as a legislator now that I would even turn my back, because I still am a youth developer, still in the schools and after school programs, we're still doing what God has allowed us to do is service young people. And being understanding young people is truly keeps us strong, keeps us healthy, and keeps society vibrant. So I ask you all to continue to stay strong in their fight. We hear you. For some of us, it's already ingrained in us. We're just, I guess, an older version of you and then in the council. So you can count on us. This council is dedicated to making sure that, especially those of us who are parents and grandparents, are dedicated to making sure that we look at each and every one of you as our next generation, our children. So you can count on us, Iman and Edward, you can count on everyone that's out there doing the work on the ground every day. And last night, I'll wrap up with this. Last night, the Black Latino and Asian Caucus, we had a meeting with the mayor, and the mayor gets it. The mayor understands it. And Debbie Rose, who is the chair of the youth committee, who also was the director of the after school and the Beacon program, I believe, we sent out a letter when the conversation first hit down that the mayor was going to make this decision to do away with summer jobs and so forth. Debbie and I send a strong letter to the mayor and the governor, and with your support and your advocacy, he understands. And last night's conversation was about how do we do this? How do we find the funding stream to make sure that nothing that deals with our youth go away? So that's the commitment that's there. And trust me, I believe at the end of this budget process, our young people, New York will feel happier about the responsibility that we did to take care of our most vulnerable and those who count on us each and every day. And that's our young people, as we encourage them, inspire them, more importantly, depending on them to lead the world of tomorrow. So congratulations to all of the fights that you have been engaging in. And I'm glad to be a part of your youth team, because I still feel like I'm young too. So congratulations, and we're gonna make this happen. God bless. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember King. Next, we'd like to introduce Assemblymember Natalia Fernandez. You have the stage.
Good afternoon. Hi, everyone. Oh, am I speaking? Can everyone hear me? Okay. Good afternoon, young people. And I will say I am one of you, as I am currently the youngest woman in the state assembly at the ripe old age of 31. But yeah, this is such an important thing we need to do and to secure. And now more than ever, I think we've all seen how vocal and passionate and organized our youth are, with our marches, with this forum, with everything. And I'm just so incredibly proud of the young community for standing up for your rights, what you deserve, what you need. Now is not the time to take these resources away from us. You know, it's always said we got to build up our youth, we got to support them, we got to help them. And now here's a time that we really need the help. YSEP, it's not just for you know, a job or the money, but it's really helping your families and giving the needed experience that not everybody can get. And the cornerstones. I am so heartbroken to hear that the 2 cornerstones that I have in my district might close. My community depends so much on this, from the youth to the seniors to the families to everybody. And it's just something that we can't fathom to do to our city, to our neighbors, to our kids, to our parents and everyone. So I'm absolutely in the fight. Scheduling kept me away from the last 2 rallies, but just know that I am here fighting with you, with my assembly colleagues, with my council colleagues, because if we really want this city and state to move forward, we have to invest in who is going to move it forward in the future and later. So thank you so much. Again, I'm so proud of you guys, and please keep up the fight. I always say my favorite saying, the squeaky wheel gets the oil, so keep squeaking.
Well, thank you very much for those words, Assemblymember Natalia Fernandez. Next up, we have Councilmember Ben Kalos. Kalos, I hope I said it right. You have the floor.
Thank you very much to Edward Sanchez and Iman for leading this whole Zoom rally. I'm Councilmember Ben Kalos. That's at Ben Kalos for those of you on social media. I am co-chair of the New York City Council Progressive Caucus. I want to thank the Campaign for Children, United Neighborhood Houses, and the entire hashtag Fund Youth NYC campaign. Having summer camp and after school was one of the best parts of my life growing up here in the city. I grew up with a single mom, and I can't imagine being where I am today if I didn't have a safe space with other youth to grow with mentors in a place where we could make mistakes, where we could get in fights and do so without getting disciplined by the NYPD and the criminal justice system, but actually being in a place where we could grow. And the summer youth employment is just so important because every job today needs job experience for entry level. And this is an opportunity for people to gain the on-the-job experience that we need. And I think that it all starts with investing in our youth. That's why I've been here, usually on the steps of City Hall, today over Zoom, fighting for summer youth programs. Every single year since I've been in the council, the mayor said he got rid of the budget dance, but every single year he starts off his executive budget with cuts to 30,000 youth seats in the summer, and every year the council's been able to restore it. That's why I introduced legislation with Councilmember Debbie Rose for there to be universal after school, universal summer camp, and why I'm also introducing legislation with Richie Torres for universal youth jobs. And I'm hoping that between all three of those things, if we can make it a law, then we don't have to do the budget dance, and we won't be in a situation where we can have a mayor who would cut investing in our youth in order to continue funding the NYPD. That is why I was one of the first elected officials to come out in favor of hashtag defund NYPD, and why we should be taking the $1 billion that the council and the mayor have increased the NYPD over the past 5 years and using it to invest in our children. It is sad that the mayor proposed a budget that would rather police our children than invest in them, and we can and must do better. And we got the money. We can take it from the NYPD. We can take it from wherever we need. And when we're talking about $1 billion, it would only take $213 million to restore all the funding for Beacon, Compass, Summer Camp, Sonic Summer Camp, NYCHA Cornerstones, SYEP, that would provide programs this summer for 175,000 New Yorkers below the age of 24. And that would still leave $800 million in the budget to fully restore all the cuts that they're talking about to the education system. So $213 million ain't much. We need to invest it in it. You have my pledge as the chair of the Progressive Caucus and as somebody who has been here year after year and won that money back year after year that we will fight for this money. And I'm hoping that every single one of you can get out there, that you can email your local council member. And we have a lot of assembly members, they're assembly members too, telling them to restore this funding, that they don't want to see a budget that doesn't have this investment in our youth. And I'll throw the challenge to you. So far, I've gotten 90,000 emails to defund the NYPD. I'm hoping that the folks on this phone, if all 92 people could email me and every other council member saying, restore the funding. And if each of you could get 10, 50, even all of your Twitter followers or Facebook followers or YouTube or Instagram followers to all join in the action, imagine the type of movement you could build. I just have to tell you right now, youth is leading the way, whether it was in the March for Our Lives against gun violence or the climate strike. You kids have been the ones leading it. We as adults, not by much, but still nonetheless, have been following your lead, and you need to get this done, and we will be there with you every step of the way. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Councilmember Callis. Next, we want to welcome Jayden Rodriguez, an 8th grader from St. Nick's Alliance, as well as a fellow youth advocating to save his program.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
My name is Jayden Rodriguez. I'm an 8th grader at MS 577 in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. I attend School Settlement Association's Sonic program at MS 577. I've been attending the after-school program summer camp since 6th grade, and now the virtual learning sessions on Google Classroom. I would truly miss attending the summer camp this year because it was a place I was able to go to and feel safe like being at home. I felt so comfortable with the staff and being together with friends. The trips and activities I will also miss because they allow me to learn and explore new things. The program itself is a second home. Thank you.
Thank you very much for those words, Jayden. So now, next up is Taji Sultan, a parent and president of the Community Education Council of 14.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? Good stuff. Thanks so much. I think what I'd like to lift up first is just that these issues aren't new and neither is the advocacy. So I want to take the time to really acknowledge those community and local folks that we maybe don't hear their names and they don't get news stories, but they've been fighting for us this whole time and didn't take a pandemic, right? It didn't take people in the streets. We just saw what was right and we did it. The number of people realizing what's wrong and trying to fix it is growing, and so I'm happy about that. I'm also encouraged by the number of elected officials that are here with us today, but I don't want 6 months from now to come and we've all forgotten the stakes and we've all forgotten the structural issues that need to be addressed. As a lifelong resident of District 14 with 2 children in our public schools and at St. Nick's Alliance, it means the world to me that these actions are happening. But we really need to keep this pressure on 24/7, 365. And we need our elected officials that we trust to do this work and to advocate, to take really strong stances. When we say defund the NYPD, say it with your chest and then make it happen. We cannot let the energy dwindle when the crisis is over, because some of our families have been in crisis this entire time. I was bringing my kids home yesterday and I saw St. Nick's in our lobby delivering food, because this is the kind of things that these programs offer to our communities year round, whether it's socio-emotional support, trauma-informed encouragement, culturally responsive education, all these things that we're fighting for, that groups like Black Lives Matter at schools have been fighting for and saying for years. Now we're finally getting it. So it's been the time, but now we have the momentum. That's what was missing. And so I just encourage you guys to keep this same energy long after COVID-19, long after people go back to work and start collecting their checks and forgetting about this reality for so many of our community members. I'm thankful, I'm hopeful, and I want you guys to keep going and never stop, okay? St. Nick's Alliance, we love you so much and we're so appreciative, and we will fight every day, all day for these funds. And there's my daughter, so I'm gonna go on mute.
Thank you, Taj Sutton. Next, we will be introducing Joel Santana, a fellow youth advocating as well from Queens Community House. Take it away.
Hi, everyone. My name is Joel Santana, and I'm a participant at Beacon 190. And I think I speak for everyone when I say that all summer youth employment programs need every single penny that that can be provided. With a budget cut, that will most definitely hinder not only the staff's lesson plans, but my peers' creativity. There are many different classes available in these programs, and I don't know what I would be like today without them. I started this program in 6th grade without any friends, and I was coming to New York from New Jersey. Now I'm in 7th grade. Now I'm going to 8th grade, and let me tell you that I have changed drastically. The support of the staff and my peers were a key factor in my development, and I give thanks to all of those who have helped me to get to this point. Now I'm a member of the Youth Council at Beacon 190, and I love helping plan events, and I can't stress enough that Beacon is a community and it deserves to be seen like one.
Thank you very much, Joel Santana from Youth of Queens Community House. Thank you very much for those strong words. Next up is Elizabeth Kennedy from the Office of Public Advocate.
Cool. Hi, everyone. My name is Elizabeth Kennedy from the Office of the Public Advocate. Thank you so much for being here today, and thank you for making this space. I actually wanted to share space with my colleague Daniel Garcia Maguire from the Public Advocate's Office, and so I'm wondering if Edward or Iman could also unmute Daniel Garcia Maguire, and I'll follow his lead. Thank you so much.
Hi all, good afternoon. Daniel Garcia Maguire here, DPA, Deputy Public Advocate for Education and Opportunity out of the Office of the New York City Public Advocate, Jemani D. Williams. Elizabeth, here's my right hand, and yeah, we're excited, always excited to be a part. Ooh, y'all here? Yeah. Thank you. Hey, sorry. I got some really shoddy internet, but yeah, just wanted to echo a lot of the sentiment around here. I hope everyone knows, and if you don't know, now you know. The Public Advocate has been a tireless leader for SYEP, and will never stop advocating for not just the re-implementation, but expansion of SYEP. So yeah, he was instrumental as a council member getting the total participation number up to 75K, and we're shooting for more. So right now we don't, as the PA, we don't have a vote necessarily on the budget, but we definitely are working behind the scenes, trying to pull all the levers to get SYEP back up and running, and make sure that there's sustainable and meaningful engagement afforded to our youth, and income that our communities that have been so negatively, just terribly affected by this pandemic, that they receive that income. Because otherwise, yeah, this is just going to perpetuate all of our systemic inequality, systemic challenges that we're facing every day. So you have my word, our office's word, and definitely the Public Advocate's word that we will never stop fighting for SYEP. We definitely want the call is, I think everyone knows that we need to defund NYPD out of schools, and take them out of schools and put that money towards youth services. So yeah, we really are trying to push for a much more inclusive environment in our city, and SYEP is instrumental to that. The Public Advocate said everyone else got cuts, but SYEP got canceled, and that's just not right. So we're pushing, and definitely advocate for everyone to email their city council members, hit them up on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, and yeah, blow up their phones, because yeah, that's the only way we're going to hold them to account. And just really want to shout out all the amazing work. As always, youth lead the way.
Thank you, Elizabeth and Daniel. Next, Drake Oritz, a youth from Coalition. Am I on? Oh, a youth from Coalition of Hispanic Family Services. You have the stage.
Good morning. Hello, everyone. My name is Drake Ortiz, and I am the Youth Council President at the Cooper Park Community Center in North Brooklyn. And I just want to iterate one thing, is that these communities and these programs are truly the difference between success and ending up in prison and the criminal justice system for a lot of people who are a part of these programs. And as I just want to say, as a volunteer and participant, I've personally seen the impact that these programs have had on the youngest to the oldest people in my community. And I want to reiterate the fact that it's not just educational services that these people provide. I've personally seen the people who work in my center donating food and giving to the poorest people in our communities. And I just want to say, even during these difficult times, coronavirus isn't over. We're in a global health pandemic. And even with this happening, we still see these programs striving to educate, to feed, to make our children feel safe, to feed our elders, to just be a positive impact in the community. And I'm really proud to be a part of these programs. And I'm thankful for all of the staff and all the people who are in here right now who are advocating for the rights, because this is a right. This is not something, we have the right to a fair education, the right to having programming. And I just want to thank everyone. Thank you.
No, thank you, Director Ortiz, for those words. Now, I'd like to give it up to Casandra Norman from Cornerstone Director from Flatbush Development Corporation.
Hi, thank you guys for having me. I want to start off by saying I work for Flatbush Development Corporation as a director for Kingsborough Community Center. But my history with FDC is kind of what makes my story a little unique. I started with them when I was a youth in my teens as part of the youth council. From being part of the youth council, I turned to be president. From being president, you know, I remember we used to take trips and just do a lot of fun things where I wasn't just a typical youth, just out in the streets. We used to go swimming. We had a retreat where we went camping for a whole weekend. It was so much fun. So the memories I take from that, I can't give back, you know? And those are things that really shaped who I am. That made me realize that I really have a passion for working with kids. I came back and started off as a counselor. From a counselor, I turned into a coordinator. From a coordinator, turned into a supervisor, and now a director, and no telling where I could go. So it's very important to fund these programs and to support the youths, because not only are we an advocate for them, but we also teaching them to advocate for themselves. And that is very, very important. So that's all I have to say for now. Remember to fund the youths.
Thank you. And before we close, I just want to acknowledge we also have some council members' offices who have staff members here. We have Amanda from Councilmember Karen Koslowitz's office, Everton from Councilmember Ampry Samuel's office, and Jamal from Councilmember Adrian Adams' office. Are we missing anyone else?
This is Marlene Cooper from State Senator Roxanne Prassad's office.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, this is Chantal Cabrera from State Senator Brian Kavanaugh's office.
If I could just drive home the point that the clock's ticking and our staff are really, you know, they're suffering from so much right now, the trauma, the vicarious trauma, everything they've had to absorb and doing the work. I mean, they live in these communities. They've grown in these communities. This is everything to us. And it really does feel like a slap in the face to many of us and to our staff. I mean, we talk every day and we try and give space for grace. We try and help them unpack these things. We're getting professional help to help them, and to have to give out furlough letters now and layoffs. It's such a hard decision to absorb. So I just want to say we appreciate so much all of you, all of the elected officials that have pledged their unwavering support, and we know you're going to do what's right, and we know that means also like urgency. We can't. What always happens? We're playing a budget dance during a pandemic. It's nuts. It's not okay. This has got to go quicker. These are dire consequences that are going to come of this. And so thank you so much for everything that you do. I know we have so many folks that joined today that are amazing and unwavering supporters of our programs and of our work. So thank you. And please, like, you know, just give us that. We need it right now.
And no, you're right. You're absolutely right. And we have to keep fighting to fund Youth NYC. It is very important, as we all stated throughout this live stream, the importance this has on families and on students and on children, that they need these services, and they do. And we're calling on almost anyone that has the ability to bring change, to do that change today, not tomorrow, but today, not later, but now. And so right now, I'd like to thank everyone who is here in this call and tuning in right now. Thank you to all the speakers that has been voicing their concerns, that are voicing their support for us. Thank you. And I'd say that we have to keep fighting and that we have to keep funding NYC. So thank you very much.